Very happy, thank you, Jay. Now, last week, the late, great Freddie Mercury would have been 65.
You may or you may not think you know the story of Freddie's life, but in a moment we'll be speaking to the people who definitely do, namely his mum and his sister. But
first, let's see what happened when Ruth Goodman took them back to visit the place where Freddie's dreams started.
In this house in Gladstone Avenue, Feltham, lived a boy from colonial Zanzibar called Freddie Bulsara. Freddie dreamt of stardom, and he made his name as Freddie Mercury.
Someone still loves you.
Queen became one of the best-selling bands of all time, with Freddie arguably the finest frontman in pop history. Equally notorious were his rock star excesses, where he would jumbo jet guests into his parties. As a youngster, his relationship with the jet set was a little different, living here, right under the flight path to Heathrow. Heathrow's where the Bulsaras flew in to escape from the 1964 uprising in Zanzibar. Like many an immigrant mother, Jer Bulsara came with nothing but hope.
It was very hard in the beginning, and I had told my children it's not going to be easy, we all have to work together, but they did agree and they did listen. I just wanted Freddie to become a lawyer or an accountant or something like that.
But Freddie didn't share his mum's dream of a white-collar life. After hearing Jimi Hendrix, he wanted rock and roll as a day job.
He wanted to analyse it as to how it was played, or the key chords, so that he could interpret it for his own sounds himself. So it was just the repetition of all the music all the time.
Over and over and over.
Yeah.
So was this where he first started writing music?
He used to write all his music before going to college, put it under the pillow and telling me not to remove any pieces of paper from underneath.
While the teenage Freddie made friends, Hounslow Borough was far from welcoming to some of the new arrivals. The local paper's letter pages reveal a deep distrust of the new neighbours.
About 100 local residents came together saying that they didn't like the way the district was changing, and there should be tighter controls on immigration. But they were often taking jobs that lots of English people didn't necessarily want to do, so that the employers were looking abroad to find labour for an area which had quite a serious labour shortage. It was a boom time for employment in West London.
And the biggest boom came from Heathrow, where Freddie's chief administrator, Dad, took a lowly bookkeeper's job. But his son had other ideas. He went to art school, met new friends Brian May and Roger Taylor, and opened a stall in Kensington Market.
Brian used to go, "What are you doing with all that old tat?" And Freddie would go, "This is an exquisite Edwardian scarf." But we managed to sort of scrape a living.
And when the lead singer dropped out of Roger's band, Freddie was eager to fill his boots.
He lacked technique, I think, at first, and it was very reminiscent of a sort of Randy Sheep. But he developed this great singing technique. He was an incredibly powerful singer.
I see a little silhouette of a man.
With an impressive 4-octave vocal range, Freddie had truly found his voice.
Hounslow's immigrants were making theirs heard too, demanding better paying conditions. In 1975, they led their first strike at Heathrow Airport.
And their voices grew stronger. 30 years later, strikes by a Heathrow catering staff won a better deal for the Asian workforce. Freddie Bulsara, meanwhile, had become one of the greatest rock singers of all time.
It was all music all the time, nothing else. Why didn't he go for studies, I used to tell him.
But I think he's done better now, don't you?
These are the days of our lives.
Freddie died of AIDS at just 45.
His musical legacy will be around for a long time. But I think above all he'll be remembered as this great sort of slightly self-mocking showman.
Fabulous.
Yes, well, we are delighted to have Freddie's sister Cash and his mum Jer here with us in the studio. So, Jer, why was it so important to you then that we made that film?
Well, I always wanted to say that he's been popular all around the world, and I want to keep his memory alive as much as I can do.
So, Cash, you're keen to show people more stuff. You've brought some stuff with you this evening, haven't you?
Yes.
What's this here?
Now, this is, as you know, before he became famous, he used to wear this little shirt, and he loved it so much. And I said once upon a time that just throw it away, it's all going. He wanted to have it stitched, which what he wanted me to do, and I didn't. But he made it himself, and he still kept on wearing it. And the hat, which looks so much like Jimi Hendrix. And there's a picture that goes with it.
Yeah, there we are. There's the picture of him wearing that exact outfit there.
Cash, what was it like being his little sister? You know, was he always the showman? Did he want to be famous, or was he just so creative he couldn't help himself?
A bit of both, really, but mostly I remember is that he was very generous and kind, and he always used to spoil me, so that was nice.
And what was he like as a little boy then, Jer?
He was very anxious to show, as far as I remember, at the age of 4 or 5, he wanted to say that he could sing. And we used to take him to parties and things like that, and he would just say, "Can I sing? So I will get a chocolate as a prize."
So he's a bit of a show-off.
Yeah, he was.
You wanted him to be an accountant, though, didn't you, really? You did really want him to get a good desk job. How did you feel about the piano job that he ended up with?
He used to write little scripts about his music and all that. And before going to college, he just put it under the pillow. And I said, "Have you tidied your bed?" or whatever. And he said, "Well, whatever you do, don't you throw away my bits or pieces under the pillow."
We have got some bits haven't we, of him applying for some of the jobs.
Yeah, as a designer. So what was he
wrote.
sort of heading towards, would you say? Was he clothes designer or art designer? What was he? Because these was lists of application here.
Yes, he started with graphic and design. But after a while, he changed over for fashion and designing. That's what he wanted to do. That's what he ended up with.
Yeah, and over there, the other part of the studio, we've got 2 coats that he did actually design, haven't we? There they are.
Stunning stuff.
Did he design these for you, Cash?
No, because when he was doing his fashion design degree or diploma, they had to, at the end of the year, had to show what they have done. And once he'd made them, and after the course was finished, I said, "What are you going to do with them?" And he says, "Oh, you can have them." So I did.
So, Joe, was he, in his famously crazy days, he was the life of Party of the Soul, both on the stage and off the stage, very thoughtful man. But how crazy did it get being his mum, or did it not get crazy at all?
No, because whenever he used to come and meet his family, he was just normal as ever, and he used to respect both of us, me and my husband, And he said, "Oh, don't talk about business. That's me, and I want to come home."
Good for him.
Yeah. Well, you've got all this great stuff, the letters he's written and the illustrations and the clothes. Eventually, would you like to see a museum full of this stuff? Do you think that's the best way to preserve?
I think so, because I just want to keep his memory as long as I can.
Well, listen, it was great. I met you both last week. Great to have you in tonight. Thanks for coming. Can we have a little round of applause, please? Fantastic job. Right. Last night, our brand new one-show dog man, George.